everyone, it's Amanda here with your July 2019 RuneScope. This month, the big news is that your mid-year check-in RuneScopes are now available over on my Vimeo channel. These are readings covering July through December, the rest of the year. So if you want to see where you're at, what's coming up, definitely check that out. That link is below in the box. Just click or tap the little arrow beneath the video. It's also a good time for those of you who purchased any of my yearly RuneScopes that I posted at the beginning of the year. The 2019 RuneScope, the Career RuneScope, or the Love RuneScope. It's a good time to rewatch those, and you can purchase those if you haven't already. There's still, a full half a year left, and kind of see where you're at in those and what's coming up. So it's a good time to kind of check those out. I will move those up on the list over on my Vimeo channel. That's where all this stuff is. So on the main page, I'll put it underneath the spiritual guidance for July. Just tap the show more button over there and it'll load the rest of those videos if you want to purchase any of those. The mid-year though will be at the top, and then your spiritual guidance for July, which this month I will be pulling and interpreting one card from the awesome Faeries Oracle by Brian Froud. He's an amazing artist. If you like Labyrinth or The Dark Crystal, which I do, two wonderful movies from my childhood, he was instrumental in designing the puppets and the characters in those movies. And the cards are amazing. He also has a book called Good Fairies and Bad Fairies, which this deck I believe is based upon. It does have the same fairies in it, but this is an oracle deck. So if you like his work, he's a genius. I do encourage you to check out the book, but also this deck if you're into oracle cards. That's going to be for July. Give us our additional wisdom. We'll get some additional wisdom and guidance and advice from Brian Froud this month. That's over on Vimeo as well. But here with our runes for July, I'm going to stick with a whimsical theme this month. And the tarot deck we'll be using is the Paulina Tarot by Pauline Stuckey. Is that her last name? I'm going to make sure I get it right, because this is also, she's another, Paulina Cassidy, sorry. She's another amazing artist. So we're featuring a lot of very cool artists this month on the RuneScope's channel. But without further ado, let's jump in and take a look at what July holds for you. Hey Aries, let's see which runes want to tell you about July 2019 for Aries. What's going to be going on for Aries? July 2019. As always, keep in mind, Aries, this is not a private session. It's a general reading for thousands of people who in some way identify with the sign of Aries. So, you can always check out your rising sign as well if Aries is your sun sign. That will often give you additional messages or information. It's actually sometimes going to be the more accurate. It's actually mostly accurate for most people when they watch their rising sign in this general context. But if you would like more specifics about people, the people in your life and the actual outcomes, your specific circumstances, you can always set up a private session with me. I do those on Skype. Just email me and I will send you my current availability. We can get that set up. In general though, in July, we're going to start in the present. So present energy, this could be end of June going into July. We've got Judgment. So here's what our Judgment card looks like. Okay, let's see. Well, for some of you, the first thing that's coming through is there's a decision about a divorce, a division of assets, a separation. It may be a decision to break up, go our separate ways. It doesn't have to be a love relationship. You could just be deciding to kind of freeze out or ice out, because this is the rune of ice. You're freezing someone out, blocking someone, or maybe someone's doing that to you. But in general, when this comes up with the Judgment card, it could have something to do with, legally separating and going our separate ways, or breaking up with someone, ending your association with them, or vice versa. And for some of you, even if it's not, if it's like further into July and you're watching this video, this could be what's going on right now, because the present, again, just like everything else in these general readings, will be different depending on when you're watching. So there's also maybe a decision that you or someone else has been putting off, and it could be that this delay, or like you're not able to delay it anymore as we get into July. It's like you have to make a decision, and that could be about anything if that's the way it's working out for you. You know, not every Aries is going to be breaking up with someone or getting divorced. So this could just be like a decision that you or someone else can no longer put off. So if you're waiting on a decision from someone else, you may have to kind of push and be like, hey, I need to know what's going on here. I need to know what we're going to do, and I need to know, you know, what's the news? Which way we going here? Or because it's like maybe it does seem like it's putting other aspects of your life on hold, like it's a freeze frame. I can't do anything until you let me know what the judgment is, what the decision is. This could also be regarding something from the past. So this could be a judgment you made on someone from the past, kind of coming back up for review. We do have Mercury retrograde in July, so that can bring up, it can bring people from out of the woodwork, old issues, old arguments, old, you know, people you haven't spoken to in a while. Again, people that you've been separated from. Could be an ex that you haven't talked to in forever, that you froze out. It's like coming back for review. Now, this doesn't mean you have to engage with them or respond to them or you know, open that door again. Again, different for all of you. Some of you may want to do that. Others of you are like, hell no, I'm not doing that. It just depends. So yeah, there is, for some of you, a resurrection, as it were, of something that has either been on hold, or again, there's been a severance of ties, and so but now it may be coming back. The situation, the issue, maybe it wasn't ever fully resolved, and so that's why it's coming up for review. Now, the challenge is the past, because we got the Six of Cups. So it's interesting. So yeah, the challenge or focus, I mean, with the Six of Cups could be, yeah, the past. Childhood, siblings, an old love, an old crush, an ex, someone who let you down, someone that there's been conflict with. Could also be a family member. This is someone that may have blindsided you, and that's the word I'm getting. Blindsided you, or blindsided someone that you care about. And it's like it's all coming back up for review, or again, these two feel very strongly connected, Judgment and the Six of Cups, just because they both have so many connections to the past. So with the Six of Cups, your challenge can be sometimes not viewing someone or the past through rose-colored glasses, remembering the bad times too, or remembering the bad aspects of that relationship or that person as well. Because sometimes when we look back, and especially when we're like, oh, that was true love or whatever, and we just think about the fun times, right? We don't think about the bad things, or, you know, we've had so much distance, it doesn't have the intensity, or we're not feeling the same trauma or drama or upset from it that maybe we did in the past. So really, you know, if it is somebody coming back from the past, put yourself back into, you know, even though you've probably, you know, if it's been a number of years, you've probably evolved too, Aries. And again, when you evolve past these things, it all contributes to who we are. But really try hard to put yourself back into who you were at that time. Because for some of you, this may be going back some years. It could be, you know, when you were a child even. Because Six of Cups has a lot of connections to children and childhood. It could have something to do with your children. This could be an ex, you know, that you share children with. That there has been, like, you haven't heard from them in years, and here they are. And you know. So yeah, there could be a connection to that. It could be a parent, it could be a mother, it could be somebody that you should have been able to depend on, like a parent, like someone whose responsibility it was to care for you or look after you, and they really dropped the ball. And that's been a source of conflict. But, you know, maybe there were good times within that as well. Or maybe the family you got out of that, like maybe someone else raised you, your grandma or your auntie, or, you know, your uncle, or, you know, somebody else took on that mantle, right? And became that role model for you. It took on that role. And, so now when you look back, you know, you are, I think it's bringing up good and bad, but they're just saying, like, absence does tend to make the heart grow fonder. So it is kind of like that whole prodigal son, you know, if you're from the Bible, where, you know, he comes back, he's been a total jerk, you know, to his dad, and meanwhile one of the other sons has been there doing everything that's expected, and, you know, the one that's been away and who's been a, you know, a real jerk to everyone comes back and, you know, is celebrated, and there's feasting and all of this stuff. So it could be that kind of an energy, and it could be you tempted to do this. So maybe it is one of your kids, Aries, for some of you. Just really kind of think about how it might make if there are other children involved, like if you have other kids, like how would it make them feel? Not saying of course you're happy to see your own child if there's been like a distance or some reason that you severed ties, but yeah, remember the good and the bad. Especially the feelings, like how someone made you feel, how you felt in that certain moment when something happened. Because you have to take all of that into consideration to make a fair judgment, right? To make a decision on whether or not you're going to let someone in. Also for some of you, it could be, again, yeah, a long lost parent wanting to reconnect. You know, maybe you were adopted, and you found your birth mother, you found your birth father, or they found you, and there's this, like, you know, you're trying to reconnect. Be careful of, you know, idealizing. And, you know, because when we don't know someone, or if we only knew someone when we were small, we don't know them at all, right? We just have these little snippets of memories. So there's this tendency to idealize whoever isn't there, right? So just make sure that they, you know, you're not giving them more credit than they deserve for who they are and how much they've changed. Although I do feel like for most of you, this person has grown, and there's just, I think, this enthusiasm from you to get over the past or let it go and rectify it, fix it. But you do need to make sure, like, if you've never gotten the chance to be heard by this person or to let them know certain things, like how they made you feel in the past, you do need to do that. Otherwise, there could be resentment that builds up. If this is going to work, you need to kind of air those grievances. The help that's going to be available, we do have the Death card. So there is a situation that is ending that you want to end. Don't freak out. I do not feel this is a physical death. I don't. Even though we have this severance of ties, I don't think that. Some of you, though, I am getting that someone that you thought had passed has not. Like, maybe it's just we haven't heard from this person in forever. And that's I would say that could only maybe apply to one person out there, but I mean, maybe there's multiple people. But yeah, we thought so-and-so was dead because nobody had heard from them in years. You know, maybe they lived kind of a wild lifestyle. And because nobody had heard from them in years, it's like resurrection, back from the dead. And it's good. I mean, people are happy, but it could be a bit shocking. What's going to help you, though, is there's a lot of luck around to end or to put an end to any situation that has been negative for you, but it has a very positive ending. There's loss though in with this. Whenever the death card comes up, it is, you know, it's an ending, but it's a beginning. So there's this letting go of whatever's dying. And, you know, sometimes that is difficult for us. It's also a transformation. It's a big change, right? So sometimes we're just like maybe grieving the familiar or what we have known up to this point. But the new is also exciting. And with Thor's rune here, I really feel like this is a lot of luck being rained down. Like maybe this is a situation that you needed help to bring about, you know. Maybe this is something you've been praying for, waiting for. And it could be very fortuitous or just lucky how you hear about this, or how maybe this new opportunity comes in, how this situation ends. Again, I think it's kind of unexpected and shocking, and I do feel like this is still, for most of you, connected to this same situation we were talking about here in the present and with the challenge, this past connection to the past and with someone from the past. So I think for many of you, what's coming to an end is this period of separation. And some of you may be out and you just run into this person. You know, you may be out doing your grocery shopping or running your errands, and you just, happen to run into this. And it is going to be kind of that, like, did I see a ghost? Do I know that person? I think I know that person. Is that? Yeah, it is. You know, I just feel like you going through all of that in like, you know, like 1 second and being like, oh my gosh. And then poof, right in that moment. And this is a spiritually led mating. Okay, your spirit guides are putting you here. Their spirit guides are putting this person, whoever this is, there at the same time, so that this does happen, so that you do see each other, you do run into each other. Others of you, if there is a funeral, that, I mean, I don't feel like for most of you this is someone close to you, but it could be that you are seeing someone at a funeral of a distant relative, or maybe someone like an older relative has passed away. I don't feel this would be unexpected though. What I do think may be unexpected is who you see at the service, at the funeral. So, and that would be quite literal translation of the death card. It's like, here you are at a funeral, and then you are also reconnecting. So it's a death and a rebirth right there. You're reconnecting with someone from the past. Interesting. This is someone that you have had in the past, or maybe, and for some of you still have, sticky feelings about. That kind of like, I love you, but I don't know if I like you, or I love you most of the time, or I love you because I have to, but at least that's how it was in the past. Looks like you can turn over a new leaf though, many of you. But what must be accepted about the month? We've got the Ten of Wands. A lot of responsibility on your shoulders, Aries, and I mean, this could be, I feel like it's from all areas. So many of you, it's like, I got all this with work, then all this stuff going on with family, or with the ex, or with the, this kind of resurrection from the past. Maybe a lot of stuff to take care of if, and arrange with your schedule. Delegate if you can in July, Aries, because anything that you can delegate, like maybe even at home, if you've got kids, give them maybe some things. Can you help me out with this? I gotta go to work, I need to help out around the house, do the dishes, unload the dishwasher, whatever, do the laundry. I feel like it's a month where you're just not going to be able to handle all of this. You could do it, but you will just be so exhausted. There won't be any energy left. And I feel like you need the energy left more for your personal life than work stuff in July, because you know, emotions can take a lot out of us, and I just think you're gonna be processing a lot. And I don't think it's bad, but it's just a lot. It's big when you've got you got 2 major arcana. So, and it does all seem to be, for most of you, going on in the relationship sphere. So this could be like severing ties with a job and a new opportunity that comes in. But that's kind of the last way that's coming in for me. I feel like this is more to do with, again, the past and a relationship. So yeah, Aries, be sure to delegate whatever you can in the month of July, and definitely don't overcommit yourself. Hopefully maybe hearing this ahead of time, like if you run your own business or you're freelance or whatever, and I know if you're freelance it may be hard to turn down jobs, but I think you may find yourself, if you say yes to everything, by mid-month you're going to be like, what was I thinking? So you don't have to do a light month, but definitely, you know, do your best. And with Mercury retrograde, it can be very hard to schedule because things come up, things get delayed, start dates get changed, projects get extended or canceled, or everything gets kind of flummoxed with that. But I feel like there's something that will have to be redone, you know, and that's going to add to your workload. So if you can keep it light at the outset of the month, the beginning, because I think this is going to be like, yeah, something's going to come back on your desk, and it may have nothing to do with you, but you've got to fix it, or you've got to redo it, or they've decided to change their strategy or the way they're doing something. And so you got to go in, or you and the team have to essentially redo it or resend it. Also a month that would be a good idea to back up all your files as you're working. That's happened to all of us, right? You're working on something and then poof, we hadn't saved, and you know, the system just stops at work or whatever, and you lose whatever because you hadn't saved it. So yeah, I would save, resave, have your backups, back it up on your drive. You know, it's definitely going to be a month where you want to pay attention to that sort of thing, Aries. So you can kind of cut this off before it happens. That's the way these readings can help the most, you know? If you know ahead of time, you know, yes, this may still happen, but you'll be like, oh, I'm the only one who saved my document. Now I don't have to waste time redoing this. The outcome, we have the 5 of Cups. It's in reverse though. Much better in reverse. This is recovering from a loss, moving past something, moving past a situation where you feel like maybe you didn't heed your intuition. And again, maybe we are talking about the past. So this is a very focused reading for you, Aries. I feel like for most of you, this is dealing with one thing. It's going to be the highlight of the month, like the thing that you're thinking the most about or feeling the most about. So yeah, this may have been a situation or a person that you just feel like you either, again, were totally blindsided, or you ignored your intuition. But I think you really felt like your intuition may have misled you. Like, you know, it may have been something where I thought I had all the right signs, or I thought that this was going to work out, and it didn't. But now I can, you know, I can finally get over this or recover because this person has come back, and I can at least say what I want to say. I may not want them to stay in my life permanently, but at least there doesn't have to be this regret hanging. Like this regret of never getting to say what I needed to say or apologize. Or now for some of you, because this is a general reading, Aries, maybe you're the one that hurt someone, and they're viewing you as, you know, this person that they didn't trust their judgment. Maybe you're the one that's reaching out and trying to reconnect with someone, or running into someone, you know, and trying to apologize, trying to say, like, you know, I was going through some stuff back then. I'm not the same person. Either way, I do feel like by the end of the month with this in the reverse, you're going to be able to feel like at least I said it right on my end. I did everything that I can do. And I'm no longer feeling this heaviness or regret or loss associated with this, because either this person is back or I've made it as good as I can make it. So And just remember, yeah, if you're running into somebody that you have a kind of sticky past with or some unresolved issues, that's happening for a reason. You're being spiritually guided to run into them so that you can look at this again. But let's run over to Vimeo now. I'm going to shuffle the awesome Faeries Oracle by Brian Froud. I want to see which fairy wants to give you additional advice from Spirit about how to handle these energies and what anything else that they may want to tell you. So that link again is below. Again, don't forget your mid-year check-in RuneScopes over there as well, covering July through December 2019. So be sure to check that out for a longer view. Thanks so much for stopping by, Aries. Have a great July, and I'll see you back here next time.